Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Tuesday, June 4th and Wednesday, June 5th, 2019 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for these days, these energies, is my consciousness is understanding of the feels. And that is very important. Take this energy mantra and run with it for the next 2 months, because this morning we had the moon shift into Cancer and we also had Mercury shift into Cancer, and that's the thing I'm going to mostly focus on, because Mercury in Cancer is where we are going to be spending quite a bit of time this summer. So we have Mercury in Cancer now through June 26th. And then as of July 7th, Mercury is going to be going retrograde and retrograding right back into Cancer. So we have these Cancer lessons, and that's no surprise because we have the North Node in Cancer. So we've been working these energies for a while, working on letting ourselves nurture, have the feels, work through the feels, family stuff coming up, all of this energy. We've been working our way through it. And so Mercury in Cancer brings our consciousness along for the ride. Mercury in Cancer connects the mind to the feelings. Now, this is an interesting thing, and I'm very familiar with this due to several things that I have in my chart. When we connect the mind to the feels, there's an interesting thing that can happen. Let me get it straight. Mercury's at 0 degrees right now, so mental energies. The mind is always telling stories. The mind's always like, hey, this is a possibility, this is a possibility, this is a story that may have happened. We can get caught up in the stories because as humans, I'm just telling you, we are all very dramatic. We are so dramatic and we live for stories. I mean, storytelling is at the root of so much of our culture. So we get caught up in the story energies, and then we start feeling these stories that we're telling. And suddenly we're feeling things based on stories, not based on a fact, not based on a reality, not based on anything we are experiencing in that moment. And then our feels can go like that. Although, of course, you can be telling some really good stories, and the feels can go like this, so it can work for you. Let's be fair about that. But be aware of the stories that you're telling, and where along the spectrum of the vortexes is or are these stories taking you? And is it true? Is this a story you want to be perpetuating? Is this a story that you want to be telling? Is this an energy that you, or an energy or feeling that you want to be nurturing in your field? This is so important for Mercury in Cancer. Besides the allowing yourself to feel the things, sometimes we're feeling things we don't have to feel, based on things that are not true, based on things that could be. And while this may be, parallel universes or parallel lifetimes or, all kinds of things, be very aware. It's up to you to help guide your monkeys. It's up to you to set those boundaries. It's up to you to help guide these things. But that being said, it's also important for your consciousness to be understanding and allowing of the feels to move through. We as humans are processing so much stuff. I posted on my Facebook page, and we've known this, but we are processing so many generations of stuff and so many ancestral patterns. You must be understanding of yourself. You must be understanding of the feels. And you also have to realize, South Node in Capricorn, you don't have to look like you have it all together all the time. Because I promise you, I talk to people every day, all the time. I talk to the people who look like they have the perfect lives. Everybody's got some stuff that they're moving through, working through. Everybody's got the stuff that's not perfect. Everybody's got the stuff that they'd like to sweep under the rug or could carry possibly shame about. If other people knew. Everybody's got that. We must be empathetic and understanding that everybody's feeling these feels. So, moving on from that Mercury and Cancer energy of being understanding about your feels, We have one more connection today on June 4th that we're moving through, and that is with Uranus and Taurus, and this is at 4 degrees. So some of those feels may be around the worth stuff. And let me tell you, you're worthy of taking the time and letting yourself process. And I think that's one of the things, is knowing that you're worthy of taking the time to let yourself process what you need to process feel-wise. So much of this lifetime has been like, stiff upper lip. I was in musical theater in high school. I danced and sang and did all those things, and there was a song, stiff upper lip, that just popped into my head. And we have that mentality, like, have a stiff upper lip. You're strong. Get yourself a backbone. You can have all those things. You can be strong and still let yourself process the feels. And I think sometimes we can feel less than worthy because we can become the blubbering mess, and you're allowed to be the mess. You're allowed to fall apart. We fall apart to fall together again. We fall apart to get better. We fall apart to release those pieces that no longer work so we can come together again stronger. You're allowed to fall apart. You are allowed to feel, and you're worthy of taking that time. You're worthy of that energy. And no, it's not always comfortable, and the moon in Cancer reminds us of that. We love what feels comfortable, so we'll give ourselves comfort food and alcohol and pills and cats. My guilty pleasure, I'm not immune from this, I buy cards. When I go through stuff, I'm like, life is hard right now. I need a new deck to tell me what to do. So we all have these things, but you're worthy of giving yourself the time to let these energies move through. And it may not be comfortable, but it's so necessary as part of the process. So then, we have the moon connecting to Mars. Is that tomorrow? I'm sorry, let me look really quickly. Yes, moon connecting to Mars tomorrow morning. 13 degrees, 7:48 a.m. Pacific time. Moon connecting to Mars, especially in Cancer. You guys have probably heard me say many times, when Moon and Mars comes together, Mars is either passionate or it is like frustrated. Mars really has those two extreme sides. Like, Mars isn't usually like, hey, I'm just walking down the street. It has those two extreme sides. So if things are going good for you, the moon is going to enhance that passion, and you're going to feel very passionate in the morning. But chances are, because we are meant to feel, and the universe is really enjoying triggering us, especially at this 13-degree revolution, evolution energy that they're connecting at, you may feel some frustration about something. And Mars may want to stamp its feet and be like, this isn't fair, I don't want to deal with this anymore, bah! And you're allowed to have that feel too. But also realize, as you get that energy out, a way through will be shown. Whether it's leaving behind that one goal, that thing that's leaving you to the frustration, or if there's like a path through, it will be shown. And you have to just realize that. And part of that is going to be as you nurture yourself, as you are understanding, as your consciousness is understanding of these feelings that move through. The less time you spend fighting yourself about, I shouldn't feel this way, I feel guilty about feeling this way, I shouldn't have a temper tantrum, I shouldn't stamp my feet. The more you can be understanding of that, the more energy will be stopped in fighting that energy, and be allowed to bring you to whatever the solution is. Moon connecting to North Node after that is like reedifying that. They're like, yeah, come on, there's a path through. We are guiding you. And part of that path through is allowing the feels. Stop fighting with yourself. Be loving to yourself and be in this moment. You are soul, source, energy. And when you get in this totality moment, that inner voice can shine through. Otherwise, you're just locked in this fighting place, and you're not really fighting with anything besides like your mind. It's like two parts of your mind fighting each other, and that's silly. Okay, so speaking of the intuition energy, after the moon meets up with the North Node, we've got moon connecting to Neptune, inner voice, super psychic energy. With the moon in Cancer, we are so tuned in, but it's not like the mental intuition. It really is that gut feeling. It does come through the feelings, and especially if you're clearing out the cluttering feelings, that energy can just move through. Final aspect of the day is the moon opposite Saturn, and between that and the moon opposite the South Node, you really got to watch yourself around the shoulds. They may be one of those blocks that's coming up that gets in the way of that Mars drive, that Mars passion. Saturn can be such an understanding planet, but when we put the conditions and the parameters of society on it, Saturn, it gets very rigid and limiting. Your way through is not, it's through responsibility, and that's where maybe the limits need to come in, but it's not through limiting yourself. It's through expanding yourself and then limiting what you're giving your energy to that doesn't serve. So utilize that. Be comfortable in your expansion, even through the feelings, but be responsible about where you're putting your energy, and that will help you direct your way through all of these obstacles. So, oh no, it's not it. I have a card. I decided, because I wasn't able to show up last night, to pull a Work Your Light card, and it's so good with all this Cancer energy. Fill up your own well. Fill your well. Retreat, rest, refuel. That is so the message of Cancer. And I just want to read this first line. The most selfless thing you can do is fill up your own inner well. What is going to fill your well? How can you show up and fill your well? So do something to fill your well today. Okay, now with that, I will take a second, pause. What are you grateful for? Because that will also fill your well, feeling the gratitude. And besides that, you can always book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. I've just about gotten the whatever is figured out. I think that I'm going to be doing like, $40. I might do the video readings. Take you through the eclipses and the Mercury retrograde, where they show up in your chart, and do the video readings with Joe again. That's what I'm considering for $40, but I'm not 100% sure. But those will be coming up in the next day or two as I filter through all of the stuff and feel what feels right. So, email me if you'd like a reading. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you, and you do have the power. Namaste.